Welcome to the Coach Bryan Moore Show. Margaret Ann Prater alongside Coach Bryan Moore, and this will be broadcast on our YouTube channel, on the Hartsville Broadcast Channel. And if you can't make it to the game Friday night, make sure to tune in to the NFHS Network because we will be broadcasting from Mountain Brook. Before we begin, got to thank our sponsors. We've got Life Church, Agency on Main, Marmac Commercial Real Estate, Peck Funeral Home, and of course Eddie Pruitt Ford, Drake Eye Center, and Coleman Regional Hospital. Now, just bear with me. Sometimes I have some long questions. This first one's long because it's kind of funny. Big win. Congratulations. First time since 2012. But I came home and I made some notes, and I thought, if we were playing a version of football bingo, you won. Because we had interceptions. We had them. We got interceptions. Yep. We ran for a TD, passed for a TD, made and missed extra points. Center point player, I got mooned by him on occasion. I know you did too. So there went your streaker. We can check that one out. 30 yards and penalties in one play. Snaps were going everywhere. Yep. We had a sideline warning. I mean, anything else you can think of that we needed to cross off our list, I think you took care of.
Unbelievable.
It was crazy. I want to talk about field and ball conditions, though, mainly. I think that's part of the reason why all this crazy stuff happened. Yeah. I think that was worse than rain.
Yeah, it was, I will say I thought Logan, I don't brag on him enough. He's, our manager, Logan Dotson, does a great job. It takes a lot of pride in it, and we're going to miss him. He's going to Troy and going to do the same thing for Troy University. So that, we're going to miss him. But, yeah, it was tough Friday now. I mean, we haven't played on that wet grass in a while, and all year really. We've had great Friday nights. Been very fortunate. And now we've had rain and we're going to have cold, coming up this week. But it was a wild night. We did not start the game well. We really played poorly early. Spotted them 13 points, or 14 points. Didn't really do a very good job. And we had a turnover and miscommunication deal. We didn't score inside the 1 yard line, which never happens to us. And gave up a big play defensively early in the ball game, several actually, until we settled in. So, I don't know. I don't know if it was a playoff atmosphere or what it was. Hopefully we'll settle in. I think we will. But I've never seen that or felt that from our kids. And I think that they'll be better going forward. Well,
and back to those weather conditions, you couldn't get anything to stay dry.
Right.
It was so wet that I don't know. I found it was crazy, and everything was slick.
Right, for sure.
Let's start with the obvious. This was back to the 14 zip. I was like, oh crap, this is deja vu all over again.
It was.
But this team, they rewrote this script.
Yeah.
What made them different?
Well, I think just the schedule. I know we're beating a dead horse with the schedule talk, but I mean, it's true. Everything is about resilience, and it's about, coming back in games and playing when you're down. Now we haven't been down 2 scores this year, but which is kind of crazy to think. But yeah, I mean, being able to fight back, we don't win that game last year. And so that goes to, our veterans, our seniors, our coaches being together. I never felt, in all honesty, we were down 14-0. I didn't feel like we were going to lose a game. Like I never was like, oh no, here we go. Yeah. There's none of that. Really, it was just like, settle in and play. What are we doing? And I've got to be a little bit better, to be honest with you, about helping control the emotions in the game. We don't do a bunch of rah-rah stuff. I'm not you could see my pregame stuff on the highlight video. I'm not going to get in there and scream and yell, and all that, because I think kids are already emotional. They already know what's at stake. They already see all those people there. But I've got to do a better job in game of just settling in, and making sure that everybody around me feels that calmness. And I will, this week. But I thought we got a little bit too hyped, and I thought we were just, jacked up and ready to go, and I thought we just sort of, freaked out a little bit early. But, again, we hadn't seen that all year at any other point.
Well, and, you were talking about him getting hyped up. I was looking to see if I'd written that question. But, we did have some emotional penalties.
Right.
But while I was looking at it and going, we shouldn't have those penalties, we were playing with a high level of emotion. We were playing with, some fire.
Right.
Which is good out of some.
Yeah, I mean, we played, really fast and physical, especially as the game wore on. I thought our fits and everything we tackled were really physical with the Q especially. So sometimes you have those. Now we can't do it again. We've got to.
No, you're going to be playing a very disciplined team. We're going to talk about them.
No doubt, but we've got to be better there, and that's been one of our focal points for the week.
Okay, let's talk about Rye.
Yep.
We in previous coaches shows we've talked about you like him to have 10 to 15 carries a game. He had 30, and he did pretty good. He had 164 yards rushing, or 164 yards together.
I think it was rushing only.
Yeah.
Yep.
And he took a pounding. So when are these D1 guys going to start knocking on your door trying to find this kid?
Well, I think they already are. We've had guys visit this year already. multiple coaches that want him at camp this summer, but he's certainly put his, stamp on this postseason and, really the back half of the season. He's really gotten going from really Muscle Shoals on. He's had great games and big, 200-yard games and stuff like that. 30 carries and 4 catches as well. So out of the 69 snaps that we had, he had 34 touches. So, but we've paced him, and I think Coach Orr's done a great job with that about using Lincoln and using Jack, to run the ball too, to take those off of him. But you could see there was a play in the game where we go to sub-Rye, and send Lincoln. He sent him back off the field. He said, not right now, And so I think that's what Rye has done. I saw it in the bye week with him sort of starting to, hey, it's time,
Let's go.
Get going. And the best ones can kind of do that and pace it. I was never good enough to do that. I had a lot of players that could, but guys like him, can pace, and then now it's time to turn it on. So you're seeing that right now.
That's incredible. There was a guy that's quietly been doing his job all year, and we talked about him a lot at the beginning of the season. We hadn't talked about him a lot lately, but there he was Friday night, and that's Eli Tidwell.
Yep.
Can we say clutch? And then I want you to talk about him, but then I want to follow up with, I look up, and he and Ryan are playing defense.
Yeah, and Zay too. They, we right now, we talked with Coach Horn, who's a Hall of Famer, won 8 state championships, and I had experience playing him, and the best players were on the field, and so Coach Newton and I kind of took that, and we're not going to do it a lot. But at times we've got to have those guys on that football
They're your
field.
athletes.
They covered a kick. Zay, Ryan, Eli covered a kick. They were on defense. They were on special teams. I mean, you just got to have your best ones out there. And, Center Point did that. I mean, they played some kids both ways and just played their best players and gave us some trouble doing it. But I was really proud of our kids. I know the rep count is up, but again, they're such competitors. They want to be out there.
Well, and I was talking to some of my students about the level of fatigue. I said, look, where you are right now in the season, that doesn't matter.
That's right.
You should be ready to go.
No doubt.
Jack Smith had a great night.
He did.
271 all-purpose yards.
Yep. He and was really efficient throwing the ball. I think it was like 16 to 21, which was another really high percentage night for him. We had the pick early, which hurt his overall quarterback rating, but he also threw a touchdown. Eli was really close to getting in on another one to the 1-yard line. We ended up kicking the field goal to take the lead at half. I thought it was important with us falling down 14-0 to lead at halftime.
Right.
I thought that meant a lot to us. But yeah, man, I mean, those guys, Jack and Eli and Zay and all of our seniors, our offensive lineman Zeke and Stennett, and they just are such competitors. And, Jack at halftime, he's like, we're out there, we go through stretching and everything, and Coach Holly's warming us up, and then, we get in the huddle, and Jack's like, Coach, I got it. It's like, get out of the way, type thing. And
that's what you want.
Yes, no doubt, do it, man, because your words mean so much more because you're in the fires, and you're out there in between those lines, and Jack has just put this team on his back and just carrying us right now.
Well, and you talk about seniors, there was one moment, and I mentioned it to the relative, and he was like, he's supposed to be able to do that. But I looked at Ryan Amett.
Yep.
He came in when Todd had his helmet knocked off.
Right.
You got your senior,
right.
Wet ball,
right.
Your second down, trying to, this is when we're going to go ahead.
Right.
Snaps a perfect shotgun snap.
That's the kind of kid he is, though, right?
And,
like he's super consistent.
That's incredible.
30-something ACT, leads Bible study, prays for our team. I mean, come on. And he's what I want to say about Ryan, too, now is that Ryan, is not a starter. He started 2 ball games for us, been a captain, and played a lot of football for us. But for him to accept that role, and just be the type of man that he is, that's Hartzell, right? Like that. And Ryan's going to get a lot out of this, too. When he's 35 years old and times are tough, he's going to go, I remember when I went out there and snapped that ball, in a tough environment, and I was ready to go. And so I think Ryan, I don't say enough about him, but he's had a great year, and I'm just proud of the person that he is.
Are we healthy? That's our next.
Yeah, I think everybody will practice today. We're fortunate right now. I mean, we don't feel.
They were hitting hard Friday
We
night.
don't feel great. Nobody feels great. I mean, there's ankles and shoulders and stuff. But as far as guys being out there ready to go, we'll be full go today.
Okay, awesome. All right, one more philosophical question before we go to Mountain Brook. You're playing a 1-game season each Friday night, and you hear a lot of talk of this could be your last game.
Yeah.
And I know that is meant with, hey, remember this moment, capture this moment.
Right.
But you don't want that to turn into, oh, you better not screw up.
Right.
You don't want it to turn into a high-pressure situation. So how do you get your guys ready to keep them excited and intense, but...
Yeah. Well, obviously, I don't think I did a very good job of that this past Friday, and I've got to do better. And one thing I always say it before the game to sort of take that out of the way. You know what I mean? Like I always say, okay, I'm going to say it because everybody else is. This is do or die. You know that, but I'm just let's remove that now. Okay, now we're done with that. So I said it. Okay, I want you to play like it's your last. I do, but I've got to do a better job. Okay, of we want to be intense without being tense. I think that's something.
Those are the words I was looking for.
I think we want to play really hard, but I think you can try so hard that you can mess yourself up. I think at this point in the season, the teams, like we said, want to be there, all that stuff, but the ones that are loose,
right.
The ones that I didn't think were very loose Friday, and I think we're going to see, a loose team. Look. We've accomplished so much already. At the end of the day, I told them this right before we got in the playoffs. You're going to go home to Hartselle, okay, or you're going to go home to your family, and they're going to tell you what a great job you've done. Period. Right? Yeah. We're here. We passed that threshold. This has been an incredible year. So I want you to understand that. You've already made history, like we said. First time in 6A to be in the third round. Like, we've made history. Back-to-back region championships. That history's been made. So now play loose, man. You're playing with house money. Right? Go out and have fun and just compete with your brothers, man, and let that be enough, instead of what ifs and do or dies and all this stuff, And I sent a letter out before the playoffs, and I said, parents, please please let me control the narrative of this team, of this playoff run. Don't tell me how good or bad an opponent is. Right? Don't tell me the history of whatever. Let me control our coaches, the people in this team room, control the narrative about everything. And then, I think it'll take care of itself. But if you put all these thoughts in their head, because we really don't know,
We're cerebral kids.
Right.
These are thinkers.
No doubt. And don't let them overthink this and just go out and play and have fun.
Okay. We'll be right back after the break. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
We at Eddie Pruitt Ford are so excited about another great year of Friday Night Lights and Hartselle football. Go Tigers!
Our player of the game, Drake Borden. And Drake, welcome. It's about time we got you here. You got 6 picks on the year. You had a great game against Center Point Friday night. So got just a few easy questions for you. First off, give me your favorite moment this season.
This season?
It can be practice. It can be game meal. It can be any of that.
I don't know. Every team meal is great. I like all of them. They're very fun to go to. And I like being here. I got to say, every interception is my favorite moment.
Okay. We have some guys, I'll talk about I'm going to ask you your favorite part of practice towards the end, and they always talk about battling for dessert. That's when I was thinking about it. In your post-game interview, you said you live for football, and it's the most important thing to you right now. So, what's second?
Obviously, God and family. I wouldn't be anywhere without them. Wouldn't be anywhere in life. So, yeah.
Excellent answer. Well thought out, sir. What other sport would you play if you didn't play football?
I used to do track, which really helps with football. It helps your speed and agility. It's competition between track or baseball. I like both those sports a lot.
Okay. Now, your favorite part of practice, what would that be?
Probably one-on-ones. I like one-on-ones. They're very fun.
Okay.
Everyone knows how to have fun during one-on-ones.
So this is one defense versus one offense. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, we've seen lots of improvement from a lot of players. I've asked every player this. I've asked them who is kind of flying under the radar that's making such a big impact that maybe we're not talking about.
I think Peyton Roberts deserves a lot.
Okay.
He's helped us very much. He got injured for a long time, but then he came back this offseason, and he's done a lot for us. He's a pretty good player. He's probably one of the best hustlers we have.
He made a great tackle Friday night.
Yeah.
Okay.
Pretty good.
See, you lived through it. We'll be right back. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show. With the Coach Bryan Moore Show. I'm here with defensive coordinator Coach Burt Newton. And Coach, I'm just going to start off with the ugly and then we'll get to the good.
Okay.
You're down 14-0 pretty quickly. What adjustments did you make after those first two drives, or What was going on in those first 2 drives that caused Center Point to just kind of take it and go?
The first drive we got on a short field, and they shot for the inside run play that they hadn't really run much, and we were more worried about number 10 and number 7 getting on the perimeter, and anyway, we didn't fit it right, and against those guys, if you don't fit it right, they're going to score, and they did, and then but after that we sort of settled in, and I think a couple things. We started really setting the edge. Our Spurs, we had 2 guys playing that position. It was Jake England and Peyton Roberts. They did a heck of a job of coming up and being very physical at the point of attack and either getting holding calls or destroying the receivers trying to block them. And it really made 10-7 kind of slow down. Then we were able to get everybody pursuing the football, which we did a good job of. And, like I told you last week, I said, one-on-one, I don't know if we got anybody that can tackle him.
Right.
But 2 and 3 and 4 of us, if we're running the football, we got a chance.
Well, it was, like I said, it was the 14 points, and then all of a sudden it was just like something flipped, and everything changed. 2 guys, right off the top of my head, Porter Simmons, I saw him everywhere. I saw him flying through the air. I saw him, he's seen 9 tackles, seemed to have a pretty good
He played
game.
with a tremendous motor. He had 9 tackles. He had some tackles for a loss. And a lot of those were just, especially some of his assists, were just running. I mean, I'm talking about slap across the field, just hustling. And we would make the guy stutter step, and then he'd come in there. And so he did a really good job. Done a great job all year. And looking, hopefully he has a big week this week as well.
Well, and Jake Haynes he led you guys with 12 tackles.
Jake Haynes had 12 and had a really good game. Caden Worley had 9 tackles and had a big tackle for a loss and played really, really hard. And Peyton Steele again had 9 tackles as well, I believe. So
Right,
we had a bunch of guys perform against really, really good skill guys.
Yeah, it seemed really well-rounded, like everybody contributed. Drake Borden's our player of the game.
Right.
And if I remember correctly, you and I have spoken before, and you said, guys are picking on him and Walker on that side of the field. They look like the smaller guys, the less athletic guys, right? When are they going to figure this out?
Drake's been great all year. I think he's got 6 interceptions, and of course he had 2 the other night, and one was off a tip drill that stopped the drive. They were driving on us, and then to seal the game, basically. He went up and high pointed the ball that the Center Point guy overthrew on their last drive, and then we were able to run the clock out and then not get back on the field. Drake's having a heck of a season, and I would not pick on Drake at all. I
wouldn't either. That's what I'm saying. Have they not figured this out?
Plays, yes.
He's doing a good job, and he seems to keep growing as the season moves on, which is what he's supposed to do. But I'm going to ask you the same question that I asked Coach Moore. As a defensive coordinator, would you have an advantage in a game playing the team you used to coach for? I'm referring to Buddy Pell being our defensive coordinator last year.
Right.
Does that give him an advantage because he's seen what we run?
I think he knows what we run because he ran what we run. But and he played in that. I don't know if you know this. I coached at Mountain Brook for 12 years.
Okay.
And I coached Buddy Pell at Mountain Brook. He played linebacker there. So he'd be familiar with us. He was here 1 year, and he knows our personnel. And I'm positive that he's telling those guys, how we do things on both sides of the ball, and also about our personnel. But like I said, I was there 12 years, and I know how they do things as well. And played them last year when I was at Vestavia, and so yes, of course, you're going to use any kind of knowledge you have to give yourself an advantage. But at the same time, it's one of those deals like we know he knows, so we're prepared for that.
Okay. All right. And I got one more question.
Okay.
Mountain Brook, biggest threat. What are we looking for offensively?
Their running back number 19, I think his last name's Gamble. He's a really, really good running back. I thought coming into it before we started really digging in and watching him on film that he was going to be a 5 and 6 yard chunk guy, and he is, because they do a great job up front of getting extra gaps and getting people to misalign with their way they shift and formation and motion. But he's run away from the last 2 weeks. He's run away from Gadsden City defense. He ran away from Pennsylvania's defense. So, I mean, he can go. So stopping him is going to be key. And then making sure that we don't get fooled by the shifts and motions, that we line up and play our base defense and be more physical than them and fly to the football. And don't get distracted with all that kind of stuff. We got to be heartful and play harder than them.
Okay. Sounds great. I appreciate your time. We'll be right back watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show. All right, we're back. Coach Moore, let's talk about Mountain Brook. We talked about at the beginning of the show how it was damp and slick and icky and all this other stuff. Now we're going to the frozen tundra.
Yeah, right.
And I found out I'm doing sideline. I'm going to freeze to death. We were
Better
talking
bundle
about, oh, it's going to be bad, you know. So how do you get the guys ready for this?
Well, we're going to control every piece of the environment that we can, you know, from, you know, tents and tarps, you know, to control the wind and stuff from the side, to heaters and all that kind of stuff, to the types of gloves we wear. All that will be taken into consideration. You know, none of that will be by chance. Everything that we do will be on purpose, and you know, and we've talked to our coaches about that and met on it. But here's the deal. Ultimately, both teams are playing in that environment, okay? And you've got to have the toughness to prepare. Now, you know, prepare and play in it. Fortunately, this week, you know, we're practicing in it. I mean, we go, you know, these 2 days, I think it's around 50 when we're practicing on Monday and Tuesday. Wednesday mornings, we're in the indoor. But on Thursday morning, we're outside, you know, and it's going to be 30 degrees out
Right.
there. And so I think that's a time for us to get acclimated. I think there's something about that we can do as we prepare, but we're going to do everything we can to make sure that's not a factor in the game.
Excellent. And another outside factor that you're going to face, besides what's going on with the weather, we're going to Mountain Brook. Stadium's a bit different.
Yeah.
I found out today from the students
Yeah.
that, or from my players, that you were going to be on the home side.
Yeah, that's right.
With their student section behind you. So, have you played there before? Do you know what this is like?
You know, we spent at least one summer down there, which obviously there were no fans, but we understand the structure. You know,
Okay.
we understand that the big, you know, there's really only one side, like you said. Like, I mean, there's the big press boxes up there and everything. The other side is a very small area that only their people sit, but not many. I mean, I'm talking probably 100 people. And so everybody's going to be on the same side. The students will be behind us, which, if you handle it right, is fun. You know, you know, and I think we've talked about that with the kids, and you know, we're not going to get into all that stuff. You know, there is a track in between us and the fans, so you know, they're not right on top of you like our stadium. You know, our stadium is closer, even though it's a smaller deal, but it's closer. But you know, we did talk about that. That's a different setup. The good news is that they have an incredible field and environment to play in. The gym that we'll dress in is right off the field, so like there's not a bunch of that stuff like Oxford.
You don't
where
have to
we're walking.
hike. That's
Right,
exactly what I was
and
thinking about.
so you know, I think we'll be fine there. But we talked about it, and I always use the one-time rule. We're going to talk about it one time. We'll talk about the weather one time. We're going to talk about the environment, and then we're done talking about this.
Exactly.
You know.
Exactly. Okay, I watched the game between Mountain Brook and Gardendale, and I'm sure you have. I did it on our off week. They look like us. Is
Yeah.
this a blessing or a curse?
Good and bad. I mean, they do look like us. You know, they are so well coached and execute and are super disciplined and just do it the right way. You know, you can respect the heck out of the job that they do there. You know, and the relentless effort with which their kids play. You know, and we do too. You know, and proud of our staff and the way that we prepare. And you know, we've got great coaches too. You know, and we got kids like you said that are high academic kids that understand. You know, we will be the most multiple team they've seen. Okay, and they're the most multiple team we've seen.
Gotcha.
So it's a chess match. And you know, one time I was at a kind of a chalk talk deal at Auburn, and Coach Malzahn was there, and he said, you know, the teams that are the best coached are the ones that it's easiest to call plays against, or maybe not easiest, but you know a lot of what you're going to get. You know, they're very sound, and that they're going to be in gaps that they're supposed to be in, and so you can prepare that way, and how you script it, and how you look at situational football, and that just makes it a lot of fun.
Oh, that's awesome. Last year, this time, there was a man, his name was Buddy Pell. He was
Yep.
your DC.
Yep.
I've asked this question to Coach Newton, so
Yeah.
I told him
Yep.
I was going to ask you as well. Same position at Mountain Brook.
Yeah.
Does this put us at a disadvantage?
Well, Bert Newton was there for 14 years with Coach Yeager, so you know, I mean, I think we both got kind of a
Okay.
cross match, you know, deal going. But yeah, Buddy knows our stuff. Buddy is a heck of a football coach and is a star and going to be a star for sure. And did a great job for us here, and loved having him here. Now again, you start your verbiage and stuff. Of course, we've modified some things, and you know, we're not going to let him, you know what's coming type deal. So our guys have worked real hard this week on changing a ton of verbiage and stuff like that, and signaling and all that stuff's going to be different. But, you know, because if I'm them, I use that as my
Absolutely.
advantage, no doubt, you know. And so, you know, we're prepared for that, and we'll have ways to change some things up. But yeah, I mean, he's got an intimate knowledge of our scheme, and so did Cyrus Swearingen of our defense, you know.
Right,
And so
Bob
that
Jones.
you've seen some of that stuff, you know, go on, but that makes it fun, man. You know, just being able, and like you said, our kids are smart, they can adapt, and we can change and modify things to make sure that, you know, they don't have the upper hand.
Well, and Coach Newton did make a good comment. He said, they know, but we know they know.
Right.
So,
Yeah.
yeah,
Right.
he's cool with it. So I
Yep.
thought that was great. Okay, same question, new week. Who are we looking for?
Well, for them, golly, you know, 19 first the running back is my opinion their best football player. Great offensive line, by far the best coach line that we've seen this year. Them and Bob Jones will swear. I mean, just both those guys. You know, Coach Yeager is the master, the mad scientist when it comes to O-line play, and he's just really sharp. You know, and so they do a good job with that. You know, and then defensively, very multiple in their looks. Got a really good Mike linebacker, 33. That's a really good player. So I mean, all of them are good players. They're all older. You know, it's kind of the recipe for success with Mountain Brook and us. You know, older kids, multiple-year starters, can handle all the multiple looks and movements and shifts and motions and everything that both teams provide. And but yeah, they're really good. But they're, you know, they all look a lot alike. Most of the kids are, you know, built the same and 6 foot, 185 pounds, and you know they just look like clones of each other.
They do.
And they just do a great job with the way that they play. And obviously they've been in the 3rd or 4th round the last 3 years, you know, in 6A, and there's a reason for that.
Okay. All right, we'll be right back with our Eddie Pruitt Ford fan question of the week. You're watching the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
Hi, I'm Jenny Tankersley.
I'm Dwight Tankersley.
And I'm Rejane Hampton, and we're your agency on Main. Local realtors here to serve you. One of our team members will be more than happy to find you that perfect home. Go Tigers!
All right, we're back with our Eddie Pruitt Ford fan question of the week, or as we've come to call it, our Dana McCutcheon question of the week. She said this was the matchup she's had on her calendar all year.
She said it, didn't she?
She said it, and she said, "So how do you do this? You're facing your clone."
You know, I just think it's about executing. You know, I know that's like cliche from coaches and all that deal, but both sides, and I mentioned this a bit ago, you know, both sides are going to know relatively what's coming, what do they want to get into when you've played 12 weeks, right? And then you're, have an identity of who you are, both sides of the ball, special teams, all that. There's going to be some knowledge about what's happening. It's just about who lines up, plays with incredible effort, and then executes the call. You know, like this week we're going to Mountain Brook and have a 15-yard penalty. That's catastrophic. We go in, we throw an interception on two seniors that have been together and throwing together for their whole lives since flag football, and Zay and Jack. Then we're going to get beat. And I hate to be that blunt about it, but that's just the truth. Like when you play at this level and you get to this point in the season, everybody is so good, and everybody is going to know what they're doing, who they are. It's just about lining up and playing, and then refusing to lose, man. Staying in the fight for 4 quarters. And executing your tail off, and not having any communication issues or bust or all that stuff. But that's what's so fun about it is the competition level is so good that you got to rise to that level of play. And I think we will. I think our kids are ready to go. They're excited about this moment. I don't think it's going to be too big for us. I really don't. I think it's going to be a moment where we can line up and play and have confidence in who we are and what we won a lot of ball games the last 2 years too. And so, and we got a good football team. And so, I think our people are going to be really confident. I know our crowd's going to be there. I know our, town and community, we got a big send-off, coming. And, but again, when we get there, it's going to be all business, and it's just going to be a lot of fun.
Okay, looking forward to it. Thanks for watching. This is the Coach Bryan Moore Show.
All right, 2 plays this week for the play of the week from the player of the week. Drake Borden, another tip drill interception, does a great job. Good job of dropping his zones. Something people don't really realize. Trace does a heck of a job getting in this window. Peyton Roberts squeezing it down. We get a ball tipped in the air, and then Drake picks it. Great job there. And then the second one is really to finish the ball game. He does a great job here staying over the top. Crossover run, stays over the top. I believe it's a post. Okay, and picks it. I'd like for him to get down. This is the end of the game scenario. Don't get stripped. But great job finishing the ball game from Drake Borden.
I'm Ray Lampy, Dr. Barbecue, and I'm here to tell you about the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience. The versatility of the Big Green Egg is unmatched. It delivers big results as a grill, a smoker, and even an outdoor oven. Grill burgers, kebabs, steaks at 800 degrees, slow smoke a perfect slab of ribs, and even bake a crispy pizza. When the doctor cooks, I demand the best, and that's why I cook on the Big Green Egg, the ultimate cooking experience.
And this weekend, Hartsville High Athletics. On Thursday, November 17th, HJHS basketball is going to travel to Decatur. Bowling is hosting Buckhorn. And your Hartsville Tigers are going to play basketball at Vestavia. So go down and take a look at our guys playing a very talented Vestavia team. Friday, November the 18th, swimming and diving will be at the Huntsville Aquatic Center for sectional competition. And as you know, our Hartsville Tigers are going to take on Mountain Brook there. Saturday, November 19th, more swimming and diving at the Huntsville Aquatic Center. Sectionals is continuing there. And we start our Encore Classic Girls Basketball Tournament here at the high school. Monday, November 20th, the HHS boys they are traveling to the Into Hoops tournament at Bob Jones. And the junior high is going to host Florence in basketball. On Tuesday, November 21st, Encore Classic starts back up. We don't play on Sunday and Monday, but they will start back up on Tuesday, and the boys will still be at that same tournament at Bob Jones. And this is this week in Hartsville High Athletics.